Hey YouTubers, it's JT. Welcome. It's Wednesdays, which means it's time for a little office hours from Work It Daily. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today, and actually have a couple of things that I want to take you through. First of all, if you have not stopped by our website, Work It Daily, recently, please do so. We have a brand new and absolutely amazing content team who is bringing fresh new content to you each and every day, and we've got some excellent new articles that are there for you. So check them out. Everything from how to ace the interview to the importance of your social media presence online, stuff that's really going to help you. And you know what we teach you? Work It Daily isn't just the name of our company. It's a habit that we believe in, which is you're spending a lot of time every day on things like social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., enjoying yourself, connecting with friends, whatnot. A lot of liking, a lot of looking. But I challenge you, studies show we spend over an hour a day doing that. And what if you were to just peel off 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day and put it towards spending some time on Work It Daily and learning more? School teaches you everything except how to get the job. Right? They don't teach us that. And we graduate school and we think we're supposed to figure this out for ourselves. So where do you go do that? Well, that's what we're all about. We want to be the trusted resource for you to be able to do that. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to do some very fun and interesting things today, something a little unexpected. Here's how it's going to work. Listen closely, my friends. I am going to offer you a chance to have your LinkedIn profile reviewed by moi, by me. But understand, it's going to be on our public YouTube channel. So if you pop your public LinkedIn URL in right now, you will have a chance. I'm going to select one person at random. And I call this the Am I Money segment, because this is where we determine whether or not you're on the money with your LinkedIn profile or not. It's a great way for other people to see it. Again, know that you're going to be on our public YouTube channel, so you got to be able to do that. But if you want to be the lucky winner, please pop that in there right now. And I'm going to take one person in just a few minutes. The other thing I wanted to tell you all about before we get started, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen here, a lot of you don't know what we do and why we do it. And so for those of you that have not gone over to our beautiful site, Work It Daily, this is it. This is what it looks like. But more importantly, I wanted to tell you about how we make a living. And it's through our communities, our membership communities, where you can work with our coaches and get the career coaching you need. And the reason I wanted to mention this is the newest level, the newest thing that we provide is on Facebook, and it comes with a 7-day free trial. So if you're somebody that has said, these Work It Daily people, I listen to them sometimes, but I don't really know what they do, you can try our 7-day free trial. It's a private Facebook group where we are answering your questions inside the group. And I do that by I do a live streaming video twice a week in there where I answer all the questions that have popped up from the members. So it's your way to get your questions answered on camera, just like we're doing in these office hours. So free 7-day trial. All you got to do is click that button, go over to our pricing page, click that button. But the other thing I just wanted to mention quickly, because we really don't do this, is tell you what the other two things are. We are the largest internet-based career coaching company in the world. We work with people in over 16 countries. They have thousands of members. And what they do is they join our private membership community where they get access not just to our exclusive video tutorials that teach them everything on job search, career development, but you also are part of a private community where you get to work one-on-one. And that's what I want you to understand. You direct message through a private Slack community to our trained career support specialists and get things like your resume profile, your resume reviewed, your LinkedIn profile reviewed, your cover letter reviewed, your interview prep answers reviewed. We help you one-on-one with every aspect of that, plus give you all this valuable content to teach you how to do it in the first place, right? There's nothing out there like this. We're the only one of its kind, and it's growing like crazy because it works. We built it for you in mind. You've got 24/7 access. It's super affordable, and all you have to do is click and enroll, all right? But again, if you're not sure, if you're just getting to know about us, you might just want to try our 7-day free trial on the Facebook. It's a great way for you to learn more about what we do, okay? All right, I'm going to come back on camera now and see if I've got any takers. If I do, if you've popped your LinkedIn profile in there, then you may be one of my lucky winners. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a question. And the first question that I see coming up here is from Ms. Blue Oceans. She says, I accepted an offer starting June 17th. I'm in the interview for a dream job though, and I'm getting close. They asked me for references. Is it okay to give a cutoff date? I already mentioned to them the other competitors. Ah, very interesting. So You've accepted a job, which was the right thing to do. You've got a job offer. It's a good job offer. You've taken it, but you've got your dream job that you're going through the process with. You want to be careful with that. I would never give a company an ultimatum. Companies have hiring processes. They have things they have to go through. You can be transparent with them. You can say to them, look, you're my dream employer. I really want to work for you, but I do need a job. I did accept this job that starts on the 17th. Can you tell me about your hiring process? How many more steps are left in the hiring process? And do you have any idea when you might have a decision made about this particular role? So I wouldn't tell them, I wouldn't give them an ultimatum. I would ask them those clarifying questions so that they can understand that this is really important to you and that they are a top consideration of yours. And that way they can be transparent. You'll find most companies will say, look, we're going to try to get through this process as quickly as we can, but no employer likes being pressured. Think about it. They're the ones paying you. And so do we like to be pressured by salespeople? No, we don't like to be pressured by salespeople. Generally, when salespeople pressure us, we run the other way. You're a salesperson for your business of one. You want the job with them. So you can't pressure them in that way. It's really not setting a good foundation. But you can ask those clarifying questions and stress your enthusiasm and excitement for the role and let them know what a big decision this is for you because you really want that job more than the one that you've accepted, okay? So I would stay in that vein. It's really the safest thing for you to do there, okay? Awesome. Second question I see here is from Lisa. Lisa says, can you overemphasize referrals where it sounds like you're name dropping? I recently had an interview with a couple of people that referred me in. Okay, that's a really good question, Lisa. It's something I've been talking about a lot inside the program with our members. So one of the things that we teach, we have this job search plan and it's videos and step-by-step about how you become a proactive job searcher. So we really believe that you shouldn't be reactive. You shouldn't be sitting there every day, going through job boards, finding jobs that you kind of fit and applying to them and hope for the best. That's just not a fun way to be. We want you to be a job shopper. We want you to decide, hey, this is what I want in an employer, and then go after it. So if you're going to do that, then you're going to create what's called a bucket list. And we teach you how to build that bucket list, how to qualify companies to be on that bucket list. And then we teach you how to go out and start to connect with people at those companies for the very reason that you're talking about here, which is referrals. In my personal opinion, you can never have enough referrals at a company. If you are interested in working for an employer, the more people that you've met or know there that can say, hey, you should take a look at her resume or her LinkedIn profile, the better. And I've told this story once and I'll tell it 100 times because it's such a good one. I was working with a woman, she had an anthropology degree and she wanted to work for ESPN. Okay. Now, most people that work for ESPN get a sports marketing degree. She didn't have one. She was an avid female hockey player in college though, and a big passion for ESPN. So what she did is she started networking and informational interviewing a lot of people at ESPN. And she ended up meeting with 5 different managers there. She didn't get a job. She graduated. She moved home. And out of the blue, she gets a phone call. And it's from a manager she's never met at ESPN. And the manager says, I had somebody back out of a role. I need to basically fill it yesterday. I sent an email, an urgent email to all of my peers. And 3 different people gave me your name and resume and said they met with you and thought you were great. 3 different people. So can I interview you? They literally interviewed on the spot over the phone and she was given the job sight unseen by this manager. So this is my point, folks. It is all about connecting with people at your bucket list companies, and you can't do that. You can't strategically focus your networking efforts and really get results out of them if you don't know what companies you want to be focused on in the first place. So you've really got to do that step, and then yes, there's never enough people that you should have referring you in. It really does make a difference, okay? All right, again, I'm throwing out that offer. For those of you, 1 lucky person is going to get a LinkedIn review today from me, but you've got to put your public LinkedIn URL in there. Keep in mind, everyone's going to be able to see it, so if you're fearful of that, but you know, your LinkedIn profile is public on LinkedIn already. But I'm going to take you top to bottom through what you're doing right and what you could be doing better on LinkedIn. So if you're interested, be sure to pop that in here today. All right, a question. I'm going to jump ahead to Jody Ann Richards, who says, can you give me an example of how to reflect your personality in your personal brand? Wow, that's a great question. So Jody, we devoted a lot of thought to this. We actually built an entire course around personal branding to help people understand how you build it properly. And the truth is that you start with an exercise of defining what your beliefs are. And understanding what are the stakes in the ground, what are the mantras, what are the things that you find yourself saying over and over and over again as it relates to the work that you do, how you solve problems, how you alleviate pain, how you deliver value on the job. There are these things that over time become part of you, methodologies, belief statements, etc. teasing those out of you and looking at them is going to help you get a sense of what should I be branding about myself. And there's a personality to that inherently. If you're a more, sassy person, you're going to say your beliefs with a bit more flair. If you're a more composed or, maybe a more reserved person, your quotes are going to be a bit more serious, right? So your personality is going to come out of this assessment of who you are and what you believe in and how you like to deliver that message. From there, you start to create content and push that out that defines that, okay? And the most important thing I can tell you about adding personality to your social media is to do it consistently. So choose a topic, choose a platform, choose an idea, and comment on that consistently, curate content around that consistently, share content. I'm gonna give you an example. Obviously on LinkedIn, everything that I curate, everything I write and promote is about career development and job search. And I've been doing that for over 7 years on the platform. So it's no surprise, and it's really very exciting to me when people say they feel like they know me, because over that time, naturally, my personality and my approach to career advice and job search has come out, right? I apply the same technique on Facebook. If you were to follow me on Facebook, you would figure out in a not very long period of time that I'm a huge dance nut. I nerd out about dancing. I've taught dance fitness for a lot of years, and I love to share videos that inspire people of all ages to dance. And you would figure that out through my Facebook. Okay, now do I comment, I share and react? Of course, that's where my community is. But as far as the branding part of it, I've chosen something very specific that I've wanted to market about who I am as a person. And that's how we all need to be thinking about it in our personal, professional lives. Branding is real, folks. I'll have people say to me, I don't believe in branding. That's me trying to manipulate what people think about me. No, brand or be branded, folks. Brand or be branded. You either think about what you want people to know about you and you make sure that gets out there consistently to the world and you take control and ownership of who you are as a brand, or you don't and people still make judgments about you. That's what people do. They're brand or be branded. And I will tell you, when you don't choose to take control of your brand, you're still sending a message. And the message could be you're not tech savvy, you're disengaged, there's nothing interesting about you, maybe you got something to hide. There's messages that come out from lack of message. So I love that you're thinking about personality. I hope that gave you some insight in what to do. And most importantly, if you really want the blueprint, the step-by-step on how to do that, you should come join us because our personal branding course is awesome. Okay, awesome. Hey there. Well, can I get a woot woot for Caitlin? Looks like Caitlin has said, hey, I'll take you up on the LinkedIn challenge. So we're going to do that right now, Caitlin. Hang on here. Let's see if I can get this information going. I'll go over here. That in there. Let's see. So, Caitlin, thank you for posting. Let's see if we can get your LinkedIn profile up here. There it is. There it is. Let's make sure this is Caitlin. Hey, folks, let's bring this up on the screen so you can take a look. Hey, Caitlin, give me a shout out if this is you. First of all, let's take a look at this. What am I loving about this? Okay, the photograph. It's Caitlin smiling, looking into the camera. She just looks so natural and approachable. Folks, that is one of the things that recruiters and people in general are looking for. You have to have a photo on LinkedIn. Don't hide from that. And it doesn't need to be professionally done, but you do need to look approachable. You need to look like somebody that I would want to walk up to and have a conversation with or pick up a phone and speak to. And Caitlin is delivering on that message right here. Way to go, Caitlin. I love it. Now, if you're afraid of that, take your smartphone, grab a friend, grab a neutral backdrop, and start snapping photographs. Snap 100 of them. You can delete them all right off your phone, folks. Grab that portrait mode and get it done. But make sure you look like a smiling, happy person. You don't have to go over the top. It can be your natural smile, but it is so important. Now, I love at the top, together we create. So clearly she's sending a branding message here. She's taken that banner and decided to use it in order to send a message. And it's intriguing, it's interesting. I've seen people use backdrops like the city they want to work in, so they pick the city skyline. I've seen if they're in a certain type of technology or industry, they'll put some picture here. But there's a reason they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. And in this case, Caitlin is really taking advantage of that. Now, Caitlin's headline is probably the first place where I'm going to suggest to her that she consider something different. So she has this great job. She's a resident service coordinator at this apartment and millennial housing district. The thing is that's going to show up in her work history. And if somebody was searching for her on that, they would find that. The LinkedIn headline is prime real estate, folks. It is how recruiters and everybody finds you based on your skill sets. If I'm looking for somebody with a certain skill set, I'm going to type that in LinkedIn. And if they have that skill set in their headline and they're in the location that I want, they are going to rank higher in the search results on LinkedIn. This is how they have to do it. They have algorithms around this. So this is such prime real estate. And if you were in our program, Caitlin, I would be telling you to replace this with your top 5 or 6 key skill sets so that you could be found more and you would show up in more search results. And I'll show you where to find those in a second. Now, her about section, first of all, wonderful, it's short. A summary by definition is short, and that's what she's doing here, but I would argue it's just a little bit too short. I would rather see 2 to 3 sentences here, and I want them to be numbers driven. I'd want to know how many years have you been doing the work that you're doing, how large, give me the range of the size of projects that you've worked on, maybe in terms of budget or the number of projects that you've worked on, you know, maybe the size of these housing developments, because numbers are really anchoring to the eye. They're the easiest thing for us to process when we're reading something, and they create a lot of magnitude. I can understand the depth of your work in just a couple of sentences if you provide me some numbers to do that. So way to go there. I love that it's short, but I would say some numbers and a couple of sentences here would be key. And the other thing that we would advise you to do inside LinkedIn is, or inside our program, is we would teach you to identify your top 10 key skill sets and list them here. Once again, if those skill sets are listed in key places on the LinkedIn profile, it's going to help push you up. And people forget that LinkedIn is enormous now. Over 500 million profiles are sitting on here that this has to sort through. So if you want to be found, those keywords really matter in strategic places. It's also going to help me brand you in terms of knowing what your work is and what your specialty is. Now, we've got her job here, and she's got a nice short paragraph. I would argue it'd be easier if we had bullet points here, and I would love to see numbers here. So as a coordinator, I want to know how many individuals you're supporting, right? Elderly, disabled, you know, what number of people are you serving? How large is the overall population? How many, you know, units are there in the residence and the resources? You could give me some numbers like that that would help me understand the size and scope of this work, which would be huge. And that's probably the most important thing that we teach people when it comes to their work history, which, by the way, is the same in your resume and your LinkedIn profile. That's the one place where these are identical. And then we see that she's got her her teaching work here, which is great. Not a lot of explanation under it. And some of these older roles, not a lot of explanation. And then finally we get down here to the graduate assistant area. So I'm going to stop there because I'm just going to say the one thing I'm seeing here is that I would want to see bullet points, very simple ones. Total number of students that you've supported or taught, that sort of thing. How many classes, how many classroom hours, things like that, again, are numbers that help me, the recruiter, understand the size and scope of your work. Now, the last thing I just want to bring up as we scroll all the way down here, great volunteer experience, skills and endorsements. This is where I would be looking for the key skill sets that you would want to put in the top of your LinkedIn profile. So skills and endorsements actually do matter. When you list skills here, that's what you're searchable on. And if you then take your most popular skill sets that you most want to use in your work and put them up here in the headline and in the summary, you're creating this density in your profile that's very, very important. Now, why is that? I will tell you a little secret. I showed it last week. Why is it so important to do this and particularly do the LinkedIn profile the way we teach you inside Work It Daily? We have an entire tutorial that teaches you how to do it. And the reason for that is when you follow ours to a letter, what you're able to do is save it as a PDF. And when you save it as a PDF, we'll see if this opens up and I can show you. Let's see if I can bring this over so that you can see it. Can I get this over here? Maybe not. Let's see. How do I get this over here so that you can see it? But what it does is it gives me Caitlin's, there it is. There it is. Hopefully you can see it. It's giving me Caitlin's LinkedIn profile as a resume, which is totally amazing. And I'm going to close that down there. But that's my point, is if you want to be able to quickly create a really good looking resume on the fly, learning how to use our LinkedIn tutorial and our LinkedIn outline will ensure that you're creating a very usable resume here as well. So really important things for you to think about. Caitlin, I'm going to give you a double thumbs up. I think you've absolutely crushed it on this LinkedIn profile. I also think there's just a couple things, as I've mentioned, you could do to make it a bit stronger. And that's what this is all about, right? Just upping our game. So really well done there, Caitlin. Hats off to you. Thank you so much for participating. That was great. All right, I've got a few more minutes, so I'm going to answer some more questions. But before I do that, I just want to tell you all, if you liked what I just did with Caitlin, guess what? you can have it done too. You just have to join us. When you join the professional or the executive level membership at Work It Deeley, that is one of the amazing things we do for you. We review your LinkedIn profile and give you feedback, your resume and give you feedback, your cover letter and give you feedback, and we give you the tools to teach you how to do it right. So if you enjoyed that and you want to get that done, we're giving you a special discount today. You'll find the discount code in the chat. You can save $10 a month. You can join us instantly and you can start working with us, okay? All right, fun time. So let's go back and answer these questions. So Monica says, what suggestions do you have when you have roles that you don't have any clear numbers associated with? Oh, that's a great question, Monica. First of all, I'm going to challenge you. Go through, describe what you do, and then I want you to go through and circle every noun, every object, right? Every noun in there, and say, how many of those? Usually we can quantify them, and sometimes there's a lot more than we realize. So we'll say, I work with people. Well, how many people? I work with departments. How many departments? There's always some numbers. The other thing you should look at is then all the verbs, all the action and the activities. You know, what percentage did you increase something? You know, how much did you grow this by? What was the change? How much did you reduce the time savings by? And the thing I would tell you is this. Some people say to me, oh, JT, I don't have the exact numbers for that. I couldn't put up there. That would be lying. All I want you to do is conservatively guesstimate. Guesstimate lower than what you know it to be. Because that way, when they say, how did you come up with these numbers? You can say, well, I didn't have the exact numbers, but here's how I came up with them in my head. And then I took, you know, more off of it and was conservative just to make sure that I was really giving a number that's accurate, when in reality, this is probably higher. But because I didn't have the exact numbers, I guesstimated conservatively, right? And you walk them through your thought process. But it's crazy not to have these numbers on here. You've got to have numbers to anchor the eye. I see it all the time in the work that we do. It makes a real difference. You know, people oftentimes write these very flowery resumes and they try to make themselves sound so important, and they use all these fancy words. Recruiters can't stand that. It's overwhelming to the eye and it's not really telling them anything. A simplified, fact-based, objective resume with numbers is what they're looking for. And that's why we push you so hard to get those numbers. And we show you how to do that inside the program too. Okay, very good. Let's see. So how about this question from Piscina? I've come across interviewers who ask, are you interviewing? Are you interviewing? And if so, where else? All right. And do you have any job offers? That's interesting. Yeah. So if somebody is asking you if you're interviewing other places and if you have other job offers, that's a buy signal. That's them saying, hey, we're pretty interested in you. You know, if they're not asking you where else you're interviewing, then they're not worried about losing you, are they? Now, what I wouldn't do is say something like, well, I don't like to disclose that information. Or, well, yes, you know, I am, but I don't want to tell you who. Because that's negative and it feels weird, and it actually comes across like maybe you're trying to hide something. Here's what I would do. I would be honest. I would take a deep breath and say, I'm really glad you asked me that question. I am in the interview process with a couple other companies, but none of them excite me the way that you do. Or I am in the process and I believe that I'm probably going to get an offer from one, but nobody excites me the way this company does. Tell me, if something was to come up, would you want to know? And if so, would you want me to tell you? When would you want me to tell you about those things? So you see, again, we're not telling them anything. We're turning around and asking them clarifying questions so they understand we're interested in them. We're here to have a conversation with them about them. And that's how you very calmly address that. Say, I'm really glad you asked me. Yes, I am interviewing in other places, but none of them excite me the way your company does. And I might get a job offer. Is that something you'd want to know about? Would you want me to inform you? So that's the polite dialogue way to have that. And I really encourage you to do that, folks. There are some other coaches out there in the universe that are telling job seekers to be, that's none of their business, and that you shouldn't have to tell them how much you make. And they just, I'm telling you right now, as somebody who's been in recruiting and who's worked with a lot of recruiters, when you have that kind of antagonistic attitude in an interview, you're done. You want something from them. You want to be hired from them. You want them to pay you thousands of dollars. And by the way, it costs them 130 to 140% of your salary to hire you. They have to pay extra taxes and benefits and training. And so when we get defensive, it's not good. I'm not suggesting we be taken advantage of. In fact, we teach you how to really have the upper hand inside our program. But we show you how to do that in a way that's more give and take, that's more natural, that's more relationship building. And I just think that's a better way to do it. Okay? All right. Let's see. If you recently started a job and would like to switch to a new job, when should you give notification? Still 2 weeks or more? Ooh, wonderful question. There's been a lot of discussion around this whole 2 weeks notice thing. Where did it come from? It's some kind of, standard that cropped up. I think what you should do is think about your relationship with your organization. Is this a company that has done right by you over the years and now it's just time? Or you've started and maybe you realize, hey, it's not the right company for you. Evaluate why you're leaving the organization and evaluate what kind of reputation and relationship you would want to have with them. It's a small world out there, folks. It's a small world. Leaving an organization that's been paying you, even if they've been awful to you or whatever, they've still been paying you. You want to think about how you leave that in a professional manner. And if that means you want to say, look, I'll stay on for 3 weeks for you, or I'm giving you a month's transition, a month's notice, then that's what you do. That's what you're able to do. Okay, that's the key. Now, if your new employer is saying, look, we absolutely have to have you, we need you here in less than 2 weeks, and you really want this job, then you're going to go for it. But you're going to go in and say to your employer, I'm sorry, they need me. I do have to go, but I'll be available to you outside normal office hours. I'll make sure that I can follow up with you. I'll do everything you need me to do. Just be really kind about it. But remember, it's a small, small world out there. And I've had people say, I don't care, I'm moving on. Can come back to get you each and every time. So I love that you're thinking about it. And I would tell you, just do what's right. I've seen people, especially in like senior leadership positions, I've given month, 6-week notice just so the organization has time to make that transition. And if your new employer really respects you and wants you that badly, they're going to understand that you need to take that time to transition as well. Okay? Great. All right. Super questions today. Love it. Sun Yang says, I have a video interview on Friday with the head of sales who is a friend of my previous boss who let me go at my last job. We met before at a work outing. How do I answer if he asks why I left? So first of all, I think you need to go back to your former boss, if you can, before Friday and say, I'm meeting with your friend for an opportunity. I'm curious. He's probably going to do a reference check on me. Can you tell me what you're going to say about why I left? Can we just talk openly about that? Because I really want to be proactive in this meeting. I'm very interested in this company, and I want to be able to take ownership and talk about why you needed to let me go and what I can say there. I would ideally do that. You're bringing him into the conversation. You're finding out exactly what he's going to say, and then you would go on the offensive in this interview. At some point they're going to say, why did you leave? And say, I'm really glad you asked that question because I know you know my old boss. That's how we met. And I had a conversation with him about this just this week. I reached out to him because I said I wanted to be proactive and talk to you. And so here's what we talked about. And then you share. See how you're doing that with a lot of transparency, and also the fact that you preempted that. You realized that question would come up and that it was important to you to get the right answer to share with this individual so that everybody was above board. Nobody's wondering what the other person said. It's all very clear. And I think that if you do it that way, you'll be just fine, right? People leave jobs. Jobs sometimes aren't always a fit. Circumstances are what they are. Let's not get overly emotional about it. Let's push that aside. Let's be objective. Let's talk about what we learned, how we grew as a professional, and what we want to do now. And when you focus on it that way, that's really going to make all the difference. Okay? All right. Very good. Yeah. Super, super. Excellent job. Okay, listen. Just to recap, if you loved this today, I hope you did. I hope you really liked it. I'm just going to remind you and take you back here. There are 3 ways that we're able to help you. So first of all, you can sign up today, free trial, 7-day trial, join the Facebook group. We have a couple of video tutorials in there that will let you see what it's like. And we do live streaming twice a week where I answer the questions that have been posted inside the private group. So it's a really great way for you to experience coaching. We do not do one-on-one coaching in the Facebook group though. Please know that. If you want the one-on-one coaching, if you want the resume review, the LinkedIn profile review like I did today, the cover letter review, you have to upgrade to either our professional level or our executive level. And the key difference there, just so you all know, the professional level is for individual contributors, professionals. Executive level really is for that VP and higher level individual. These are people that are on that high 6-figure track. They're very driven in their careers. And so there's a different type of conversation that's going on in there. The other big difference with the executive level is I actually man that personally. So I do work with those executives directly, whereas there's no guarantee that you'll be working with me. There's a whole trained team of experts inside the professional level. But let me tell you, those trained experts, I'm amazed. They are on top of it. I think they're better than me, to be candid. So you're going to get great service in the professional level. But the executive level is something where we're talking about that C-suite kind of stuff. So, and it's far more expensive, to be honest, because of the amount of energy and work that goes into that. But the professional level is affordable. You're all getting a discount code today. So if you're looking for that one-on-one advice, today's the day to do that. If you're not ready for that, free of charge, you can try the 7-day free trial on Facebook, okay? All right. Hey, I really hope that helped today, folks. I wanted to make sure that people understand who we are and what we do. Guess what? I have exciting news. We have a lot more content coming your way. We are growing. You're going to see a lot more written content over on the Work It Daily site, so be sure to sign up for our free newsletter. And you're going to be seeing a lot more content in the near future here on YouTube. Lots of different kind of content to help you work it daily, right? Because what do we tell you? If you want to win in the career game, you got to work it daily. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was such a joy hanging out with all of you. Can't wait to see you all next week, all right? Keep at it, and I hope we see you inside one of our platforms really soon. Okay, team, take care. Bye-bye.